Hello, good evening. It's another wonderful Sunday. Good evening and welcome to Iron Port here on Metropolitan Television. Iron Port is proudly brought to you by the Ghana Revenue Authority, GOIL PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, and indeed Phoenix Insurance. The show is proudly powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority-GPHA. And our media partner on this journey of a lifetime is the Business and Financial Times, the BNFT. Now, if you want to have a grasp of all that transpired in the show tonight, make a date and grab the Thursday edition of the BNFT, and you'll be able to see all that happened here tonight. We are streaming live on our social media pages. On Facebook, we are live at Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. Still on Facebook, we are live at Port of Tema. Port of Tema, and on YouTube, we are streaming live at Iron Port Ghana. Iron Port Ghana. We shall be getting interactive with you tonight, and so all you have to do is sit back, relax, grab your phones, and send us your messages and comments ahead via our dedicated WhatsApp line 0559-019-177, 0559-019-177. And when the time is ripe and I pick signals from the production team, we shall activate the phone lines for you to call in and contribute to the discussion. My name is Kennedy Mona. We are going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue the show. Please stay with us.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I dey come.
Shut up!
Mame, fill me tank na mwati. Boss, fill my tank with Super XP Euro 95.
Fill up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from GOIL.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey, go for mommy.
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for GOIL Super XP Ron 95. GOIL, good energy.
GOIL is good energy. Electricity, then pay your taxes. Yeah, our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is, you still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Suddenly my goods are on the high seas covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance. Oh, Ajima, tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
All right, welcome back. We're now going to take a look at happenings in the port and shipping industry in the course of the week. And in the course of the week, transit truck drivers have been impressing upon ECOWAS to intervene in the reopening of the Niger border so that they can have fluid flow of trade. Plus the fact that institutions have been urged, particularly those in the maritime industry, have been urged to create more opportunities for women education, training, and employment. We have these stories and more. Please enjoy.
The maiden edition of the Rethinking Africa Summit has been held in Accra, Ghana, bringing together youth leaders and critical stakeholders to examine how the benefits of the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement can be maximized through policy coordination and cooperation. An initiative of the Africa Youth Union Commission, the consultative summit feeds into the call for inclusive representation of youth interests and concerns for the socio-economic integration of Africa. Executive Director of the AFTA Policy Network, Louis Yao Afo, in his presentation, rehashed the importance of private sector in the realization of the free trade agenda.
I think for the past 6 months, I've not seen a marked action. So, what we need to do is the private sector organize, come together and speak. How do you speak? Cotton Association, Ginger Association, we want to export, give the government conditions.
A peace and security advisor at the Office of the President of Ghana, Isaac Opokwe-J, explained why economic integration should be pursued in tandem with security.
Whenever I look at AFTA, whenever I hear people talk about AFTA, I get excited, as most of you are today. The money they're talking about is huge. The potentials are endless. But then again, are we investing in the right equity architecture to welcome and receive AFTA?
Country head of the African Youth Union Commission, Joel Parry, told Iron Port that his outfit is keen on ensuring the youth are critically considered in decisions that will in the long run affect the prosperity or otherwise of Africa.
The women and youth protocol, you know, if it's still at ground zero, it means that we are not doing anything. The AFTA will be a failure if youths are not absorbed into the activities of the AFTA. If you look at the geography of Africa, the youths are the majority, over 70%. And if you don't absorb us and let us run with the AFTA will fail.
A high-level meeting of ministers in charge of trade and finance of the 5 countries on the Abidjan-Lagos corridor, namely Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana, Togo, Benin, and Nigeria, is slated for the 3rd to 5th of October in Cotonou, where issues affecting the free movement of goods in transit will take place. Ahead of this meeting, the national president of Borderless Alliance, Ziad Hamoui, has engaged representatives of the Joint Association of Port Transport Unions, JAPTU, to table their concerns and first-hand experiences of challenges during transit across the sub-region. The members were particularly aggrieved by events in Niger, which has led to the closure of borders and its trickle-down impact on goods perishing among reported crimes in and around border towns.
The security concerns are worrisome because apparently from the delays, the several weeks of delays, there are armed robbers who are operating within the border communities who are taking advantage of the long delays. Some drivers, as we understand, have left their trucks completely and come back to their respective homes, leaving their trucks alone. And so the bandits within the border communities, so to say, have explored the opportunities and tried to rob the truckers from their essentials, from money at gunpoint, so apparently there are some casualties and some death, which is very regrettable.
They pleaded with the political heads within West Africa to reach an agreement with the leadership of Niger that would ensure the backlog of goods slated for the country would be allowed entry, so millions of dollars could be saved.
It's a matter of roundtable. even not as a core, it will work. They will tell us all Ghanaian trucks, all other West African countries trucks, everyone should get ready. Maybe on this date. By then, Nigerian has told all their importers and exporters that your cargo is coming on this date. Make sure that from this day to this day you are able to do what? Clear. For all talks to go back. Then we are done.
Efforts to increase visibility and awareness on issues affecting women in Ghana's maritime industry remain rife. Earlier this week, stakeholders in Ghana's maritime industry, especially in academia, participated in a symposium on the topic Relevance of Women in Maritime Education and Training, Prospects and Challenges. Held at the Regional Maritime University, the occasion forms part of the school's 65th anniversary program and coincided with the celebration of the World Maritime Day. The acting Vice Chancellor of RMU, Dr. Jethro Brooks Jr. said, in response to the gender disparity that exists in the maritime industry, the Regional Maritime University has embarked on deliberate scholarship programs that encourage females to take up training at the school. He encouraged females in the region to take up seafaring careers.
We are pleased to report that last semester we proudly admitted 3 female students, and I'm told by the committee that this semester about 10 female students have been processed for that scholarship program. This transformation can be driven by students who are passionate about pursuing careers in the maritime sector and by parents who encourage their daughters to venture into the realm of blue-collar jobs.
The president of Western Ghana, seasoned academic and chartered shipbroker, Gertrude Ohinie-Sienim, in her keynote address, urged maritime institutions and companies to embrace the call for diversity and inclusion in employment, especially in technical fields.
We have about 1.89 million seafarers serving the world merchant fleet, operating 74,000 vessels around the globe, with just an estimated 24,059 being women, representing just 1.2% of the total STCW certified global workforce, and this report was issued in July 2021. Most of these women are, however, on passenger vessels. Few on the big ones like the FPSOs, the rigs, the construction vessels, tankers, bulk carriers.
A fruitful panel discussion ensued at the symposium, where practical gender concerns were addressed.
When you get to a male-dominated job, you go there with your position, not your sex. You go there as that is the level I am. That is it. You don't go there as an individual, as a person. And that is all for almost every job. And I tell young people all the time, if I'm on the ship, I'm a chief officer, that's it. I relate to my colleagues as a chief officer.
Selected female maritime professionals who have distinguished themselves in industry were honored. This includes the General Manager Marketing and Corporate Affairs at the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority, Esther J.B. Donko, for her 3 decades of outstanding service to the organization and country. Esther J.B. Donko was the first female terminal manager in the history of the ports of Ghana, and her success during her tenure as manager of the Golden Jubilee Terminal, Reefer Terminal, and Transit Terminal, and the Port of Tema several industry awards. Since 2017, she served the authority in the role of General Manager in charge of Marketing and Corporate Affairs. One of the most critical and visible achievements of her career was when she was appointed a member of the National Committee for Port Paperless Implementation and the leader of the GPHA team to implement the Vice President's directive on Port Paperless regime, and within a achieved. This feat earned her a popular title as Madam Paperless, as she was seen in the main driving seat for the project. Esther J.B. Donko is also in charge of the GPHA Media Unit Iron Port, which is the authoritative television current affairs program, championing the drive to bring clarity to the public on the happenings of the port and maritime industry, which is monumental to Ghana's economy.
Well, we all say kudos to Mama One, Madame Esther J.B. Donko, as we call her, for this very, very beautiful recognition that she got from the Regional Maritime University during their 65th in anniversary celebrations. We're now going to do some international port and shipping news.
The World Shipping Council has initiated plans to develop a common user tool that will address the recurrent problem of misdeclared cargo in the shipping industry, which remains a major cause of marine accidents. To tackle the recurrent problem, the World Shipping Council has embarked on developing a shared industry digital tool for cargo screening and inspections. Dubbed the Cargo Safety Program, the solution will be designed to build on screening processes and policies already in use by carriers. It will marry a common screening tool with a verified shipper database and a database of approved container inspection companies. The digital tool will be provided and operated by an independent third-party vendor and will be used by all World Shipping Council members. Its core function will be to screen booking information against a comprehensive keyword library and risk algorithm. High-risk bookings will be flagged for further investigation and/or inspection. NYSE-listed tanker owner and operator Overseas Shipholding Group has unveiled a $30,000 scholarship initiative aimed at removing financial barriers for women entering the maritime industry. The scholarship funds will be used to support the Women Offshore Foundation's 2024 Summer Sea Team Scholarship Program that is designed to help women enrolled at a U.S. maritime academy with financial support while they pursue a career on water. More than 2 tons of cocaine were pulled from hiding places aboard the 50,000 deadweight ton bulker Matthew. The total shipment had a conservative value of at least $170 million. Given the size of the bust, the authorities believe that at least part of the shipment was likely headed to other markets after landing in Ireland. According to the Garda National Drugs and Organized Crime Bureau, the high-stake interdiction of the bulker at sea turned out to be the largest drug bust in the history of Ireland. 7 men have been arrested in connection with the drug seizure, and the Irish National Police believes that there was likely an even larger criminal network involved in the onward transport and distribution of the shipment.
Those were some stories from the international shipping scene. We are now going for our word or phrase of the day. And remember, the word or phrase of the day has been fashioned to bring you up to speed with the terminologies and jargons we use in the shipping industry. And today's word is ISPS code. ISPS code.
The International Ship and Port Facility Security Code, also known as ISPS Code, is a code agreed between the signatories of the 1974 International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea, SOLAS, on minimum security arrangements for ships, ports, and Coast Guard agencies. The code was introduced by the International Maritime Organization, IMO, the overseer of the original SOLAS agreement, in the wake of fears of terrorist attacks on ships and ports after the September 11 terrorist attacks in the United States in 2001.
All right, so welcome back. We are zooming into our discussion proper tonight, and tonight we are taking a look at the Regional Maritime University. You just saw the story there. They have clocked 65 years. Now, I'm told by my lecturer in the MA Port and Shipping Administration class, Dr. Yoka Beidu, that the school was actually started by Ghana's first president in the backyard of his house. That's at the Flagstaff House. It was the Nautical College, it metamorphosed into the Maritime Academy, and now it's a Regional Maritime University. We want to take a look at how the school has evolved and transformed up to this particular stage. And what we're taking a look at properly tonight is the fact that we understand that there's going to be some expansion or modernization of the school. Now, we're told that some money somewhere is coming in, some $146 million, so to speak, from the Korean government for this particular project. We're taking a look at the scope of the project and the expectations and what it is, supposed to, what our expectations are and what we're supposed to achieve with that, and how significant this particular injection of this huge amount of money is to the survival and modernization of the Regional Maritime University. So it gives me pleasure tonight to introduce to us Professor Nana Ofosu Boateng, who is the Acting Dean Maritime Studies at the Regional Maritime University. Good evening, sir, and welcome. I think this is our second encounter. The first one was at Labadi Beach, where we had an interview, at the behest of the Ghana Maritime Authority. This is a third encounter, right? Yes. I think we had you in the studio as well. Absolutely great. Thank you very much indeed. So you qualified to be a friend of the program. We're grateful to have you tonight. And also in the studio tonight, we have Mr. Emmanuel Yao Kujeji. He's a lecturer, industrial liaison officer, marine engineering department. Indeed, he's my lecturer. Actually, before we came here, I had his lecture before we all set off for this place. He lectures me in ship management at the Regional Maritime University. Sir, welcome.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you. Now, I would want us to, before we zoom into tonight's discussion, if you can give us some background of the RMU, how we have evolved over the years till now, 65 years on, just briefly, before we zoom into whether it is true or not that you have received some 146 million from the government of Korea.
Okay,
Yes.
Thank you very much for this. And I'll first start by saying that, as Dr. York said, it was established just behind the Flagstaff House. Those days in
If you can draw the mic closer to you, yes, absolutely great.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
in 1958, and it has transformed from 1958 to 1983 when it was regionalized.
Right.
And after some years, in the 2000, it was also transformed to become a university. And there has been a lot of changes.
Right.
But with the increasing technological advancement and the widening gap in the maritime industry between developing and developed nations, we actually need to bridge the gap. And we were just lucky to, get this funding.
Right.
Or the grant that is coming in, as you rightly said. It's actually 146 million.
Yes.
$116,000,
okay,
which is a grant
yes,
from the Economic Development Corporation Fund through the Korea Export and Import Bank, which is being granted to the government of Ghana to transform the university into a modern university, state of the art.
Right.
Yeah. And actually, the loan facility, it's really good because the percentage on it in terms of the interest is 0.05 per annum. And you have a grace period of 10 years.
Okay.
And it's payable over 40 years. So I think any government will really chance on this and take advantage and then really modernize the maritime sector of the country. Actually, this is not coming to the university freely. It was a model
right,
that the Korean government did in Myanmar. And it's not for commercial reasons.
Right.
It's for social and economic purposes of value.
Right.
And everybody is aware the world trade by water or shipping is about 80%.
Right.
And RMU being the only English-speaking regional university in the sub-region, we decided, or the government decided, to chance on this and then push this grant to us to modernize this university. And going into the next decade, actually there is the need to revamp the institution to be at par with the demand of the industry.
Right.
And the shipping world, as you see now, is now looking away from the Philippines and India. They were the dominant force when it comes to the labor supply to the maritime industry worldwide. And this is moving towards Africa, particularly Ghana.
Right.
And so there is a need to update our infrastructure, which will help us greatly. Ghana, will, like the Philippines, will be able to export seafarers. And as a matter of fact, contribute enormously in terms of returns of the revenue that will be generated by the foreign companies employing the Ghanaian seafarers.
Right.
Philippines actually gets about 6 billion
annually.
Annually.
From the exports of seafarers.
Yes. And you can see this could have even paid for the 3 billion that we were looking for from the IMF. So, honestly speaking, it's a chance or it's an opportunity that we have to really take advantage of.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Awesome. Right. So is the money in yet, or we are yet to access it?
It's yet to be finalized, and it's yet to be signed by the current government. And once it's signed, then the project kicks off.
Right.
And it's going to take about 4 to 5 years for completion. So this is the state in which we are now, and we are waiting on the government for quick signing or implementation of the agreement.
Right. Right. Awesome. All right, let me come to Prof. Nana Boateng and find out from you, when in earnest, how soon, because I'm excited about this, how soon do we expect you to kickstart once everything is done by government?
Yeah, thank you very much. You know, you can't really execute anything without paying for the sources that you might have engaged in doing whatever you wanted to do. As far as I know, during the COVID moments, some meetings were done via Zoom with our Korean partners.
Right.
And somewhere in the latter part of 2021, they came in physically to Ghana for an engagement. And in 2022, we signed a framework of agreement. So it means that there is that commitment that in the interest by both governments to engage.
Right.
It's something like that. Actually, the only hurdle that, for me, I think that some expedite action would have to be taken is that cabinet would have to approve all of this, and then of course, like with every loan, it would have to go to Parliament. Once the approval is done, then we can start. So for me, I'm looking at, in earnest, I'm looking at probably the beginning of 2024 or mid 2024, where things would be on site and the construction could begin.
All right, so tell us, what will the scope of works be for this particular project once it kickstarts? He indicated it's going to last for like 5 years. Yes, when it starts.
It's varied, actually, because we wanted to, like you rightly said, the name of the thing is modernization. So we wanted to be a top-notch, world-class maritime university and addressing the needs of technological advances that are emanating from the domain in which we find ourselves. So the very first that came up was a training vessel, which was going to cost something like $47 million.
And that has been a long-standing one.
Yes.
Yes.
I remember when I was
captured in this particular project, modernization project. Also.
When I was a cadet, our dream was that we could have a training vessel.
Yes.
Initially, Black Star Line had a training vessel, Nakwa River, if you do a little bit of research. But as you know, the shipping line fizzled out, so now we don't really have any training vessel as it is. Because a training vessel is supposed to mimic what's exactly happening ashore.
Right.
Where you're going to have classrooms, and then you're going to have a dummy bridge and a dummy engine room, so both things could be done together. And there wouldn't be any interruptions with the main systems that are operating on board.
Yeah.
The training ship, of course, is not refurbished or something that existed, but it's going to be constructed from the scratch.
Right.
And so there's something that is going to come in there from the Koreans also, because the shipyard is going to be from Samsung in Korea. So there's a win-win there. They are also going to gain something because, of course, they will have employment, people working on it. And I know it's going to take 120 cadets.
Right.
Of course.
That's the vessel.
The vessel.
Okay.
And it would also have, aside its complement of crew, where you're going to have training from engineers and navigators. We are also tinkering with the idea that we would make it operate like mercy ships, where the old seafarers would sort of want to come on board and help, you know, with tuition and
Help,
stuff.
tutor, mentor.
Exactly.
You know.
So that it also would enhance your, kind of outlook that you have. We also are going to have 2 fast rescue boats. Okay. We're also going to have 2 big buses for transportation, and then 10 SUV units. We're going to have simulators also, but of course it's going to be varied. Some are going to be full mission simulators, both for bridge and engine room. And then we're going to have a simulation center where all these equipments will be housed. I think it's a 4-story building or something like that, where all of these simulators will be housed. Then we'll have lecture theaters, because the vision is that when this thing happens, it's going to open up the gates for more intake. So we're going to have more students applying. And then, of course, we would need space to accommodate everybody. So they're building up, and that's not to say that we don't really have lecture halls, but of course, these new ones, these lecture theaters are going to be state of the art, taking into consideration all the technological innovations that are in at the moment.
Right.
And the capacity also, the seating capacity is quite large, 1,800, I think. Then we will have a new Vice Chancellor's residence. We'll have staff accommodation. We'll have a sick bay. We'll have a sports complex. We'll have a graduate school, a brand new graduate school.
Right.
We'll have a fishing gear workshop. Very, very important. Fishing gear workshop. We'll have the water supply also looked at. There would be a reservoir and then also an underground tank. Then there's going to be a service unit for the transportation department, where they will have the ability to service their own equipments and cars and trucks and stuff.
Right.
And also there's going to be dualization of the main road that leads into the school. There's going to be a roundabout created. There's also going to be a widening of the bridge that it's from the main gate, the Tema Road gate.
Yes.
It's going to widen. The gate is going to be changed. There will be a new arc put there. So it's a very, very thorough thing that's been looked at, and it's going to change the face of the school.
Awesome. I think there's a follow-up question here. Some viewer who is watching us says, my name is Obiba Same from Kwahu. I want to know, in the absence of a training vessel in the university, how does the school take cadets through practical seafaring training?
Yeah, so do you still want me to answer?
Yes.
Okay, very well. So we are aware of this. At the moment, we have a physical presence of one of the very established shipping companies in the world, in Germany. But they do have a physical presence, an office, training center on the campus. That is Ben Ashote's Ship Management.
Right.
And at the moment, if I'm not too wrong, but I know we have over 600 seafarers or cadets that have been admitted on their ships.
Right.
And I'm also hearing that at the moment they've even promoted some of the cadets to second officer and There's the making of probably a chief officer also coming in. There's a second engineer also. So that is also there. At the moment, we are also blessed, and at this moment, I want to mention one person who has been very instrumental also in bringing in more shipping companies.
Right.
So as to augment the training that we are having. Sure. That is Engineer Delante.
Okay.
That is the former provost of the school.
Okay.
In fact, he's the project manager for this Korean modernization thing.
Okay.
And he's a very knowledgeable person, very hardworking. He always will push you to get things done. And I'm happy to say that at the moment, he's been able to, through his own facilitation, he's been able to bring about a company, bring in a company, the name Hafnia Shipping. And for them, they are a little different because they're giving priority to the ladies or the female cadets.
Okay.
So at the moment, they do have 16 ladies that are on their ships.
Okay.
And I just confirmed from him, and I know he's listening to me. I confirmed from him that another 16 will be joining in December or early January of next year.
Wow.
So that'll be 32. So at the moment, I want to use this platform to encourage our ladies. Of course, there's the perception out there that it's a man's job or a man's world, but it's not. I mean, it's open to everybody. There's no deviation from anything. So they are all welcome, and it's a beautiful environment. You have free travel on the ships and be paid very good money, of course. It's exciting. As I sit here, I have 5 passports all stitched together because there's so many countries I've been to for free. And I was well paid too. Made a lot of friends, a lot of connections. So it's an interesting job. So I want to use the chance to encourage the ladies to come in because once you finish, the priority is for the ladies with Hafnia Shipping, which I did mention that Engineer Delante was very instrumental in bringing them in. We also have Danao Shipping. Danao Shipping is also in. It's a Greek company, shipping company. And they also, I know at the moment, we have about 10 cadets who are also on board training. So, and more have expressed interest to also
join,
to come in and join. So there's no problem or hustle at all. Though we want to have our custom built ship, yes, but in the interim, these are some of the things that we put in place so as to augment the training needs of the school.
Awesome. All right, let me come to Mr. Kujeji. And you want to add up to what he said? Yes. Okay, so my question to you before you come in is that he has listed a litany or gamut of projects under this particular project that you're going to undertake. And I just want to find out from you, I know you undertook some feasibility studies as far as this whole project is concerned. If you wouldn't mind sharing with us some of the findings of this particular feasibility study that you conducted. But before then, you can add up to what you wanted to follow up.
Actually, he mentioned a lot, but there are more that is to come in terms of the sports complex.
Right.
Yeah, and then we have a CFD facility, which is computational fluid dynamics, which is mainly for the design and construction aspect of ship, of which the country is lacking. We've always been maintaining ships, but when it comes to the design and building,
we don't have that capacity.
And therefore, they are coming in with a CFD facility.
I think you've moved away from your microphone again, so yes.
And therefore,
thank you, sir.
They are coming in with a CFD facility in terms of ship design.
Okay.
And also, they will come in with a flume tank, which is basically for fishery studies. And you know, the fishing industry is one of the key areas that, unfortunately, we are not managing it sustainably. And therefore, it's very important for them to come in with this flow tank in terms of their studies that is conducted with regards to fishing.
Right.
And then you have the Seafront Marine Research Lab, which will be a research lab for the marine engineering students and the master's students as well.
Right.
Those who are going into the emerging sectors now, such as the environmental aspects of shipping, the renewable energy aspect, and then the biotechnology aspect.
Right.
So this lab is there to provide us with the support to delve into real research work.
Right.
Right. Your question regards to
the feasibility studies
the
and some of the
feasibility
findings
studies that conducted. Actually, what came out was the need for a modern infrastructure in order to increase enrollment.
Right.
Without infrastructure, we cannot increase the enrollment.
What's the current number or current population of the school?
It's about
close to about 1,800.
About 1,800.
1,800.
Yeah.
For both undergrad and graduate.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's about 1,800. And looking at the facilities and classrooms at the moment, it's inadequate. And with the emerging trend or the current STCW convention, other countries or some developed countries such as Poland are having the academic way of training the future mariners, of which when you take the Netherlands, they are going the vocational way. But with the modern trends now, we need to integrate the two, academically and vocational, which the UK system is practicing now, of which we just started as well. So in this case, more of our children, more of our brothers who are from the JSS, who are from the SSS, who are taking vocational, can equally end up at the top with this new system. And by doing that, you'll be increasing enrollment. And we really need that infrastructure for that enrollment.
Yeah. Okay. So let me find out from you, the current student population is 1,800. You're looking to increase the numbers once this particular project kickstarts or once it's done.
Yes.
Have there been instances where you think that you have admitted and then at some point you think you are stretched and so you can't accept any more students? With the current infrastructure that you have?
With the current infrastructure, we are almost at the edge. Almost.
Right.
Yes, almost. And there are certain classes that we cannot take more. For instance, the marine engine mechanic class. We exceed the number.
Right.
We exceed the number. And as a result of that, we have to actually divide them or partition them into various groups in order to facilitate the learning process. So, truly speaking, there are classes that the student numbers are overwhelming.
Right.
And therefore, there is the need for this new infrastructure expansion.
What's the percentage in terms of Ghanaian and non-Ghanaian? The percentages?
The percentage 80% of Ghanaians and the percentage of Ghanaians is about 80%.
80%.
Yes, 80%. So the Ghanaians are really dominating the school.
Right.
Yes. And when it comes to the lecturers or instructors, it's the same.
Right.
Stakeholder.
Awesome. Okay. So let me come to Prof. and find out from you if you can walk us through the financing structure once this particular project begins.
Yeah, thank you very much. Like we started by saying that it's a loan, so
and it's coming from the Korean Exim Bank. It's now something that the government of Ghana is providing. The very good part is educational. So I'll say that it's an educational loan.
Right.
And so, as we all know, in Ghana, anything that is related to education, the government doesn't really tax it. So that gives us a little bit of leeway there. So it's not as if the government will be providing something real big. And of course, like my colleague rightly said, the interest component of it is real minimal. And it's been spread over 40 years. So it looks more like a grant for me. It looks more like a grant to me than a loan aspect of it. Of course, when it starts, it's not all, but some of the engineers that will be coming on site to work will be local engineers, and of course, most of the artisans will also be Ghanaians who will be doing the working and stuff. I would say that the bulk of the equipment will be coming from South Korea, of course. And they also will be building the vessel, as I did say. So for me, it's a very flexible loan. The interest is very minimal. We didn't even want to talk about it. And then also the time frame or the stretch of time that you would want to make the payment is over 40 years. So, and I believe it's like so because of the educational part in it. Actually, we are not, it's like a non-profit, we're doing it to help humanity, to educate, build capacity and stuff. So those were some of the things that were factored in to make it, so minimal and very, very, very attractive. So it's a good deal, and I'm also excited that the government of Ghana is gotten into it and is poised and also determined that it will see this project come through.
All right, so I just want to find out from you, what is it that is in it that has elicited interest from the Korean government for them to want to push it? What's in it for them?
Yeah, in this world, there's nothing like free lunch. There's nothing like free lunch. Of course, the shipping domain is very dynamic. It's moving. And Korea is well advanced in that domain. And when it comes to some of the equipments that will really make a difference in this project that we're doing, the modernization, their companies would be supplying them. And the ship, for instance, which is $47 million, is their shipyard, the Samsung shipyard, which will be doing it. So at least there is quite a chunk of something for them in there for them.
Yes.
And again, like my colleague, Engineer Emmanuel said, when the fishing gear workshop is built, I mean, the emphasis somehow would be on the tuna vessels that would be plying our coast, of course. And we do have lots of Korean vessels that are also in the tuna in the tuna field. So it would really help, and I believe that it's also of interest, or else they wouldn't be proposing, or they wouldn't be in agreement that they would want to build something like that in the school.
Okay, so let's dwell a little bit. Okay, you want to add up to what Prof has said? Yes.
Right. As Prof have rightly said, you may know that most of the fishing companies or vessels in Ghana or operating within the West Coast is being owned by most of the Koreans. It's being owned by Koreans, or most of them from Korea. And therefore, the interest in terms of pushing in certain amount of money to invest in that sector and to enhance or improve the efficiency of how the industry works is also a factor. So I don't think, I don't think they are injecting this money into the sector without any returns, directly or indirectly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want to find out from you, let's dwell a little more on the training vessel that you mentioned that would be coming in. I just want to find out from you how this would affect or impact the training of students at the RMU.
Right.
Because, like I said, it's been a long-standing one. Several years ago, we started talking about this.
Yes.
And like he said, when they were cadets, or was it you who said when you were cadets, you were looking forward to?
Yes,
you
we
looking
were
forward
all
to it.
cadets.
Exactly. And it never happened.
And I remember those days in the Ministry of Transport, may his soul rest in peace, Mr. Afari.
Right.
I used to ask him, say, when are we getting the training ship? He would tell me, oh, it's coming soon. It's coming soon. Until I left the school to find my way somewhere.
Yes.
And then gladly I'm back.
Yes.
Actually, the training vessel is a key component of the training of seafarers when it comes to the STCW convention.
Right.
And even to become an officer of the watch, both engine and navigation.
Right.
And therefore, from level 100 to 400, in the STCW training component for engineers and deck officers, you need a certain amount of sea time,
right,
which, should the training vessel be available, they will be on board this training vessel, and then they can offset that amount of time that they spend on that training vessel,
right,
in addition to what will be required after graduating. And as a result, will really fast track the period that they become competent officers.
Okay.
So instead of the 12-month period that they will be going on ships after 4 years in school, this will be limited if they've got some of the training already on board whilst they are in school. So it's going to bridge the waiting time that they stay at home, or the waiting time that they have to wait for Bernard Schultz, Hafnia, Danos, and other European companies to engage them to do their sea service or to have their sea service, which is 12 months. So this is really going to help. And they will have the exposure as well in terms of the current equipment that is being used by the industry or within the industry. They will be exposed to so many equipment in terms of how they even work, the standards, not after graduating. And it's really going to effect or fast track and also churn out more students. If we are able to accommodate about 120 of them on the ship, definitely it's going to churn out faster in terms of how they will be moving from school to the industry. So it's going to play a very critical role in bridging that gap after school and within or whilst in school when the training vessel is there. And some of the components or the subjects that we teach or we impact, okay, to them in class will be done on board.
Right.
So it will be like a classroom as well as on-the-job training,
right,
which I think is the best mode of teaching and learning.
Right.
Classroom at the same place as on the job.
Right.
Hands-on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is exactly what we intend doing.
One question that eluded me when we're talking about the numbers is, what are you looking at when the project is complete? It's completed.
In terms of the cadets?
In terms of intake of students, the student population. We stand currently at 1,800.
Yes.
And I'm asking how many students you are looking at
at least
admitting
at
once
least,
the project is done.
At least if we can double it,
Okay.
and the shipping companies are coming. They are coming. They've expressed interest, and so it will not even be enough.
Right.
Looking at the scale or the amount of seafarers that the Philippines and the Indians churn out in a year.
Right.
And fortunately or unfortunately, the Philippines and Indians have got many maritime universities or schools.
Yes.
But we have
Maritime
only
training institutions. Yeah.
Exactly. We have only one.
One, yeah.
So I would say it's good these things are happening, and then the regulators also will look at it and see how it can be expanded. Okay? And then, yeah.
All right, so when you say the shipping lines are coming, it means they are demanding for,
Yes.
seafarers.
Yes, the demand will be high.
And so currently, what is it? Does the demand surpass the supply currently?
Currently, yes. In terms of the cadets, the officers,
right,
and even the female cadets.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
They are looking for more female cadets. Hafnia is looking for them. There was a point in time that Engineer Delamte have to even call me and be asking me, do I know some people or, yeah. And the demand is there. It's somehow a slow process, but the demand is there.
There. Right. Okay. And so overall, you're looking at doubling the number once the project is done.
Yes.
And this is not going to come from only Ghana, but from
the West.
region.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Let me come to Professor Captain Ofosu-Boateng, and find out from you how you think this particular project, when it's completed, would impact or affect our performance as an industry in Ghana.
It would greatly affect us because, like I rightly said, anything that is going to come in will be cutting edge, the latest of equipment and stuff. And the object of this project is that we want to modernize the university. Now, as we rightly said, there are lots of shipping companies that are coming in.
Yes.
And they do give their demands and their aspirations, what they really intend to have in terms of capacity building for our students who in turn will be working on most of their ships and stuff like that. So at the end of the day, it shouldn't just be us churning out students, but we have to bring students who would reflect the very domain or the place that they would be fitting into after the training. And I would want to say that industry has been fair to us and have given us a little bit of guidance onto the type of people that they will want, and we have aligned our training in that direction. So going forward, I think that when this project is all done, it's going to be a very useful one. Of course, it's not only touching on seafarers only, but the other appendages of the maritime domain would all be touched. And as I can rightly say, in the world, we do have a shortage of officer seafarers. I think over 40,000 or so. So it means the market is there.
Yeah.
And if we are able to do this, even in West Africa, I'll say in Africa, it's only Ghana and Egypt and I think South Africa that are a little very phenomenal when it comes to seafaring and stuff and training and stuff. But I sincerely believe, even for now, it's only Egypt that has a training vessel. Only Egypt.
Right.
So if we are able to pull this through, then it's going to act as a game changer because then, of course, it puts us on a certain leverage.
Right.
And also industry would see us as, oh, now these guys are doing things real at the very top or really pretty well class. So we wouldn't need to approach them. It's going to be the other way around. They would would come in.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, it's going to be a cycle. We train them, they go on board, they also need us, and that kind of exchange. So I think that visibly, when our school is lifted to that capacity, the trickle effect is going to be enormous.
Right.
And it's going to radiate and permeate everywhere.
Right. Awesome. That's Professor Nana Ofosu-Boateng. He is the Acting Dean of the Maritime Studies Department, Regional Maritime University, and also in the studios, Mr. Emmanuel Yao Kujeji. He's a lecturer and industrial liaison officer, Marine Engineering Department, also at the Regional Maritime University. And tonight we're taking a look at the modernization of the RMU. We're taking a look at the scope and expectations once this project is done. We're going for a quick break. When we return, we'll continue the discussion. Please stay with us.
Guys, now I'm tired. I'll go on a date with whoever gets here first.
Princess, really? Okay, I dey come.
Shut up!
Boss, fill my tank with Super XP Euro 95.
Well up with Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP high performance products from Goyle.
Sorry, Tony got here first, so I'm stepping with him.
Oh, cut him. Hey,
Choose Super XP Ron 95 and Diesel XP for an energizing driving experience. Always go for Goyle Super XP Ron 95. Goyle, good energy.
Electricity, then pay your taxes. Our taxes, our future.
Because you see, without our taxes, we wouldn't have good roads, good schools, better hospitals, street lights, and other very important social amenities. When we pay our taxes, we give our children free and quality education. Talga, my money too small. Why should I pay my tax? Look, small. Salifo, it doesn't matter how small or big your business or income is, you still have to pay your taxes. The little taxes from each and every one of us, when put together, could give your community clean water or that deprived school with tables and chairs. Please pay your taxes. It is your responsibility. It is your civic duty. It is the law.
Impressive factory. If only I had listened to you, I wouldn't have been in this mess. That devastating fire virtually wiped out the whole factory and my warehouse.
Remember my misfortunes last year? Serene Insurance Asset All Risk Fire policy that I took were there to pay for my damaged stocks in the warehouse, and my machines that were affected by the floods have been replaced. My accident vehicle is back on the road thanks to Serene Insurance motor policy. Currently, my goods are on the high seas, covered with their marine cargo insurance policy. I was just telling Ajima about Serene Insurance. Oh, Ajima, tell him more.
As a road contractor, I make sure I do my contractors all risk insurance for the projects, and then workers' compensation for all the workers on site. With Serene Insurance, they will make sure they will cover your unknown tomorrow today.
Serene Insurance, a new face of insurance. Call us now.
MPS Terminal 3 is Africa's new state-of-the-art container terminal at Tema Port. For manufacturers, agro-processors and traders, the new port means business can be done faster. This infrastructure boost will improve Ghana's port handling capacity, connect more trading routes, and oil the engine of growth for the economy, creating greater opportunities across all sectors as Africa's markets merge and become the largest trading bloc globally. MPS, we connect, you thrive.
Business and life can be like the sea sometimes. Sometimes serene, sometimes calm, sometimes turbulent, and at times it brings the unexpected. However it is like, trust Phoenix Insurance for your home, car, business, and marine insurance needs. Call 0302 246 319 or 0243 690 492.
At Phoenix, you experience a delightful service delivered with wisdom.
All right, welcome back. I've been told by the production team that you can call in and contribute to the discussion, and the number to dial is 020-552-8353. 020-552-8353. You can call in. And tonight on I Am Pod, we are discussing the modernization of the Regional Maritime University. It was Nautical College metamorphosed into, Maritime Academy, and now it's the Regional Maritime University. It's 65 years old, and the good news is that the Korean government is giving us some funding of $146 million for the modernization of the school. As you heard, it's going to be modernized into a state-of-the-art, university, where we can train professionals in the maritime industry. In the studios is Professor Captain Ofosubuateng, who is the acting dean, Maritime Studies Department, Regional Maritime University, and also in the studios, Mr. Emmanuel Yakujeji, who is a lecturer and industrial liaison officer. He's with the Marine Engineering Department. He's my lecturer as well. They're the two gentlemen we're having a discussion with tonight. And so you can call in and contribute to the discussion. There are some messages here. So let me go into the inbox. And when I return, I think Mr. Kujeji wanted to say something, but I'll give you that opportunity. Right. But let me go into the inbox. This one says, Afrifa and Takra, this says, how does all this play into the cabotage law that Ghana has been after? Will this mean secure employment for seafarers in Ghanaian waters? Yes.
Absolutely yes. And with the cabotage law.
Okay, so, sir, before you continue, let's go and welcome a caller onto the show. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
If you can speak up a bit, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm Anna Nifuga.
Okay,
From
Anna,
Tema.
yes. Tema,
Yes.
Gulf City, all right. Please
Yes.
shoot.
Yeah. Well, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you clearly, sir.
Oh, okay. Yes, I heard what you were saying. I think the students from the Maritime University, why can't they do their national service in the Ghana Naval vessels?
Okay.
Than foreign recruiting them to do their service somewhere.
Okay.
I think it will be better Ghana Navy take up the mandates.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
for
right.
the students to do their services in their vessels. That will help us a lot.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yes. Mr. Anand wants to find out why students cannot do, not even, I don't think it's only national service, but perhaps get some insights on naval vessels or ships. Is that something that is feasible?
Yeah, it is feasible because I was mentoring one student. In fact, he was the valedictorian for a school from my department,
Right.
nautical, and he's on the ship at the moment.
Right.
And in conversation, he said there was a guy who did his national service from our department on a Navy vessel. It was not, I think not national service, but internship.
Right.
Internship. So there's a possibility that, of course, it is a Navy ship, so maybe you might be restricted to certain areas of the vessel. But basically, because you would be dealing with armaments and stuff, which
Right.
you don't need. What you need is the navigation and the equipments that help to propel the vessel.
Right.
So you would be doing everything that a navigator would do, devoid of the armaments that would be on board.
Right.
And of course, we should also notice that we are the merchant navy and an auxiliary to the navy, the main navy. In times of war or adversity, we could be falling on to augment the navy.
Right.
It's done in most countries, and I believe Ghana is not an exception.
Right.
So whatever we train in our morning parades, everything we do is just like the Navy. It's only devoid of armaments, which we don't have.
Right.
In those respects, what we have on commercial ships is cargo instead of armaments.
Okay.
So everything is the same.
Right. Okay. Thank you very much, Prof. Yes, you were on this issue of cabotage and whether the texter says, how does this play into the cabotage law that Ghana has been after? Will this mean secure employment for seafarers in Ghanaian waters?
Yes, absolutely yes. But it comes back to us as to how we enforce this cabotage law.
Right.
And there are certain difficulties and certain difficulties in implementing this law. And from the feedback that I've heard, we still need to go further in terms of honesty when it comes to what? The Ghanaian mining companies.
Right.
We have a lot of mining companies, of which, if you have to go strictly according to the cabotage law, there are certain percentage of people or Ghanaians that you need to employ on those vessels. One, you're operating within your territorial waters. But unfortunately, we have one or two issues that sometimes I personally report to the GMA to see to those issues.
Right.
And it's actually possible to get this done. And also, it will streamline a lot of things when it comes to retirement benefits, social security, and all those things, of which, the seafarers are not covered in those days. But with modern seafaring, or as it's been tested in other jurisdictions, all these things are under it, and then it can be integrated so that the seafarer on retirement will also enjoy his what?
Absolutely.
Retirement.
Absolutely.
So it's a positive thing they are doing, but we need to enforce it.
Okay. All right. This one says, I remember watching an Eye on Port episode earlier this year where your guests from the Regional Maritime University called for a deliberate government policy to export Ghanaian seafarers. With this modernization project, I think it is very opportune for government to turn its head that way. And this one says, how much is RMU looking at training officers for fishing vessels? Apparently, there aren't any Ghanaian officers on fishing vessels, and it's worrying. This one's from Fred in Tema.
Yeah, I want to just speak briefly to this one. It's a little expensive to train, especially train officers for vessels. It's quite expensive. It's not child's play. But so what you normally would see is that in some countries, the shipping companies sponsor the students who are coming in. So you are a cadet, you are being sponsored by company A, B, or C.
So when you graduate,
you go straight there.
Right.
But in Ghana, we don't have that luxury. So most of the time, the students might have to look for either a scholarship from industry, or the parents or a guardian might have to foot the bill for the training. But I think going forward, the only thing is that there is a little bit of bleakness there, and people don't really know the potential and the gains that one would have when you complete the school.
Right.
I want to emphasize this, and I want to say it emphatically, that there is this knock-on effect, when you engage in the seafaring program in the school, because we are looking at a profession where when you are seagoing, and it's, of course, foreign going, the mode of payment is always in dollars,
in
US dollars. And that, unfortunately, is the currency that is used worldwide and for world trade, and etc. So all these seafarers will remit and bring the monies back home. And it's of great economic value because there's going to be foreign inflows of this amount. And like we rightly said from the very beginning, Philippines is doing marvelously well for their country because they have very little natural resource. So what you have is use the human resource to gain a lot of foreign influence into the country. And Ghana can mimic the same thing, where we have quality trained, because at the moment, one, our advantage is that we are an English-speaking country. So that's an advantage that we have. And the quality of training that we have many captains on various vessels all around the world. It's very typical for a captain on, say, an LNG to be paid something like probably $19,000 a month.
Yeah.
So if he sails for, say, 6 months and he comes home, just do the math. You know, and on board it's tax-free because they know you are going to pay tax in your country.
That's some good money.
Exactly, that's a lot of money. And all these monies will be repatriated into the economy because then it will be paid in a bank, a foreign account in your country because that's where you live and that's where you want to. So, in effect, that would trickle down and it would, I believe it would assist the government in its bid in looking for foreign exchange and stop crying about it because it's going to be in abundance. The more seafarers, and the demand is huge, the more seafarers we train, the more dollars that's going to come in. If on some in some very good companies, ABs are earning $3,000 a month. And that's about 33,000 cedis every month. And that person is not an officer. He's not. He's a rating. He's just an ordinary sailor on the vessel. But he's earning $3,000 every month.
A month,
which is about 33,000 Ghana cedis. So then you ask yourself that, sure, which job will pay, somebody who has just a minimum scale, that much.
Much money.
Maybe the maximum you might be paid is 1,000 or 2,000, not more. But it's 33,000, and it's in dollars, and it's coming into the economy also. So we have to be emphatic about it.
Right.
To add to,
before you come, let's welcome David onto the show. When David is done, then you can add. Yes, sir. Yeah. Good evening, David.
Yeah. Good evening, boss.
Yes.
Please.
Yes, sir.
I'm a project management expert, and I'm really interested in this innovative project, which is ongoing, or which will start at the next year.
Yes.
I'm really interested. How do I become part of the project work? Like, whatever will be done.
All right. David is looking for business opportunities, and I think the best you can do is to take a drive to the RMU and then get to Prof's office, and then you can have a discussion and take it up from there. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Dave. Yes, you wanted to add up to.
Yes, and what Prof said, it's really going to help in terms of the benefits that will accrue in terms of the seafarers coming home on retirement.
Right.
Once they remit these monies back home, some will be saved for them, some will be invested in their pensions, the SNET, and all this. And it's going to boost that sector as well. So it's going to, it's a triple effect, or it's somehow like a chain reaction if we are able to establish this.
Right.
And as you rightly can see as well, they will live comfortably at old age.
Sure.
And with regards to this, the collective bargaining agreement with the shipping companies who will be coming must be strengthened through the ITF,
right,
of which is an internationally recognized body. So once
ITF, that's International Transport Federation. Yes.
Yes. And once they accept you as a member, the green light is open. Every company will be chancing on the citizens of that country.
Right.
And it's going to pay in the sense that they will go by the ITF standards.
Absolutely.
As a chief engineer or as a master mariner, the least that I know we have been paid now is about 10 grand.
$10,000?
Yes.
Wow. A month?
Yeah, my mate is earning 15,000.
Wow.
Yes, I don't want to mention him. Some are earning 22K.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
that's
imagine,
huge.
that's huge.
Yeah, that's huge. Yeah.
That's huge. Yeah. And anyway, I don't want to go into
Yes.
So all these monies can be repatriated
Back into the country, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think it's time that the government really look into this and then make the necessary inputs to recoup some of these monies that is being, taken by other countries.
Absolutely. Awesome. Let me come to Prof and find out from you what your view about maritime education and training in the sub-regions. I understand we have a caller. When I come, that's what I want you to answer. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, can you speak up a bit, please?
Yeah, my name is Thompson Jerry.
Okay.
Yeah, I came in late to meet your conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, my problem is I want to ask the professor why, I don't know if you've discussed it already. I don't know. But I want to ask the professor why RMU cannot get training vessel for our youth.
A training vessel?
Yes.
Okay, I think that question has been answered already, but I mean, he'll just give you just some 1 minute or some 30 seconds and then we wrap up because we don't have enough time. Thank you very much indeed, Jerry. Yes, Prof.
Yeah, Jerry, for the moment, as a little measure or a little way of training students, we do have lots of shipping companies that have come on the campus. We signed various MOUs with them, and they are training our people. But in the long term, like we are discussing today, we want to have our own training vessel. And the good thing is that the concept design and everything, it was at the height of the COVID, so the Koreans wouldn't come, so we had to be doing it.
Absolutely.
Then we forward it over to them, and then they approve and say, okay, we want to change this, we want to change that and stuff. So we were very involved in the design and the concept and everything. Initially, I do remember it was designed for 88 cadets. But for me, I initially felt that was okay, but Engineer Lamte again came in and said, no, I mean, let's look at the bigger picture. I mean, once it's built, that's it, and you can't expand it anymore. So it's now 120. So, of course, and we are very hopeful, and it's one of the reasons why we're making this discussion today, that, and we believe the government is listening, and they would fast track this so that within the next 3-4 years, we'll have our own training vessel.
Absolutely. Awesome. Yes. Sir, let me come to you. If you can wrap us up. There are a lineup of activities for the 65th anniversary celebrations. Just recently, you held one for women in the industry, training, education and employment and all that. What are some of the activities that are lined up for the celebration? Just quickly, and then we wrap up here.
Well, we started with a health walk, way back in June, and it went well. And then we started with, we continue with the scholarship fundraising.
Right.
From the staff, and then from the staff, and then a food fair,
right,
or a food bazaar, isn't it? Yeah, that we had, and we generated some amount as well. Invited some stakeholders for this fundraising.
Yes.
And then during the Board of Governors meeting in November, in July, yes, in July, sorry, pardon me. In July, they had a dinner as well in a form of fundraising,
right,
of which they raised some funds as well, just to aid in the scholarship development sector for the students,
right,
but especially for the girls.
Girls, yeah.
Yeah. And then recently we had a talk on enhancing what the
is it the women, the one you have? Yes,
women,
education, training, and employment.
Employment,
yeah,
and
sure,
the career path for
absolutely,
the women in the maritime industry to boost their morale, and appreciate them with the efforts because they are in the male-dominant industry, and they have to work 6 times more than the man to get into that position.
Absolutely.
And I really respect them. Respect them very well with the enthusiasm that they are really,
Showing. Absolutely.
Showing.
Awesome.
To at least break the gap.
Yeah.
Though it's a way of, working extra mile.
Yeah.
But they are getting there.
All right.
And I respect them for that.
Great. Thank you very much indeed. Mr. Emmanuel Yakujeji is a lecturer and industrial liaison officer, Marine Engineering Department, Regional Maritime University, and indeed Professor Captain Ofosu Boateng, Acting Dean, Maritime Studies Department, Regional Maritime University. We've been discussing the modernization of the Regional Maritime University, the scope and the expectations, and you heard it all. It's good news. We all pray that government will expedite action on this particular project so that we can kickstart in 2024. And in 4 years, we're going to have a fully fledged, complete state-of-the-art university that would churn out the best of professionals as far as the maritime industry is concerned. We say many thanks to our sponsors, Ghana Revenue Authority, GWEL PLC, Serene Insurance, Ghana Link Network Services, Meridian Port Services, and indeed Phoenix Insurance. Remember, the show is proudly powered by the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority. And make a date on Wednesday and watch the abridged version on Ghana Television at 8:30 p.m. And we also entreat you to keep watching the rest of our programs here on Metro TV. My name is Kennedy Mona. God willing, next week, Sunday, we shall bounce back with another wonderful edition of Iron Port. We entreat you to enjoy the best of the week, and thank you so much for watching Iron Port. Good evening.